Why were cities built by prior civilizations? Call them Tartarian or whatever pleases you. It's been observed that the people of the 1800s were unable to build these magnificent structures, lacking the required technology and tools to build such intricate buildings compared to today's brutalist architecture with our current advancements. So it has been speculated a more advanced race built these cities and have since been repurposed for modern needs and to hide the past. Cities cause severe cases of stress, anxiety and depression due to the living conditions being cooped up in a box detached from nature and the constant obsession for fictitious money, which leads me to question why this advanced culture would build cities in the first place. Cities such as London, New York, Moscow and Berlin were once built and presumably inhabited by this prior culture. It's assumed this civilization were once free and mighty people, which we aspire to return back to that way of life, without the struggle and commitment to a work, sleep, repeat daily routine. If they had no obligation to work or earn an income, why did this previous culture live in cities? Huge grand cities, densely populated, perhaps having hundreds of thousands of people living side by side in confined apartments. Not really an ideal way of living. One would imagine being in harmony with nature, being one with the land, rather than living in a concrete city detached from nature. Imagine having the freedom to live wherever you want and choosing to live in a massive city surrounded by millions in built-up apartments. Looking at how this past civilization dressed and conducted themselves should raise some questions too. Do these sets of people look as if they lived in these built-up areas? The new inhabitants dressed in their little suits and top hats fit the picture far better. The clothes of the Tartarians suggest they had some class and mysticism behind them, not fitting the scenery of a grand built-up city. And what exactly would these people do day to day in a city? So, who truly lived in these cities? Were they built to house free beings or enslave a race of people before the reset? Originally, looking through archived photos at the old cities, the buildings and antiquity often caught people's attention. Despite being in a huge, densely populated city, the question has rarely arisen on why they would choose to build and live there in the first place. Maybe what we see today in our modern cities, a negative, low vibration, was the opposite of before. They were built to raise the vibration of the realm, trying to elevate and eventually ascend to another dimension, leaving behind their architecture and way of life, or what we would call the reset. These are just speculations. Nobody truly knows, but it's important to have an open conversation regarding this. The question I would like to leave with is, why were there large cities built throughout the realm, and who really lived there?